Hello students. In this session, we'll be discussing the topic dyes. Dyes are naturally colored substances which are used to color textile fibers, leather, paper, hair, foodstuff, plastic materials, etc. In the earlier days, dyes were obtained from natural sources. Example is indigo, alizarin, alizarin, etc. So these were called as natural dyes. Nowadays, most of the commercial dyes are synthetic in nature. That means they are prepared in the laboratory. So these dyes are referred as synthetic dyes. Let us first discuss the definition of a dye. A dye may be defined as a colored substance which, when applied to fabrics, imparts a permanent color, and that color is not removed by washing with water, soap, or on exposure to light. So, dye may be defined as a colored substance. So, dyes are the colored substances, okay, which are applied on the fabrics. These are applied on the fabrics, cotton materials and all those things, fabrics. When they are applied on the fabrics, they impart permanent color. They impart, the fabric gets a permanent color. The fabric gets a permanent color. And these are not removed. The color that has been taken up by that fabric is not removed by washing with water, soap, or on exposure to light. All colored organic substances are necessarily dyes. Okay, now let us discuss the requirement or the condition of a dye. What is the requirement for a organic substance to be a dye? Let us discuss the requirements. The first condition is it must have a suitable color. It must have a suitable color. This is the first requirement. Second requirement is whatever the dye that we have, it must be capable of fixing itself. It must be capable of fixing itself to the material to be dyed. For example, if I have a cotton material, so this substance should have a capability of fixing itself and it should impart a permanent color. Okay. Another requirement is when it gets fixed, it must have fastness properties. That means fastness to light. Fastness to light means when exposed to light, when the fabric is exposed to light, it should not the color should not fade. Okay, the color should not be removed on exposure to light. So that is the meaning of fastness to light. Or it should be resistance to the action of water. That means it should not be removed when it is washed with water or soap or detergents, etc. So that is called as, it should have fastness properties. Okay, it must be have fastness to light, sunlight, heat, and normal atmospheric conditions also. So these are the few properties or the requirements of a dye. That means it should have a suitable color. It must be capable of fixing itself to the material to be dyed. Okay, if you are dyeing a cotton material, it should have a property of fixing itself. Then it should have fastness properties, fastness to light. It should be resistance to the action of water, soap, detergents, etc. or various cleaning agents. It must be fast to sunlight, heat, and normal atmospheric conditions also. Okay. One thing you should note that all dyes are colored substances, but all colored compounds may not be necessarily dyes. Okay. Now, so this is the definition of and a requirement of dye. Next point is the classification of dyes. So dyes can be classified. dyes can be classified based on their structure. Okay, one way of classifying dyes is based on their structure, and next one is based on their application. Let us discuss first this classification of dye based on the structure. Based on structure, how do we classify these dyes? So based on the structures, the few classification of a dye includes azo dyes. Azo dyes. What are these azo dyes? These dyes contain one or more NN groups, that means nitrogen. Nitrogen is referred as an azo group. Okay, if a diazo, matlab it should have two nitrogen, I mean it should have nitrogen groups. Okay, these dyes contain one or more diazo groups. They should have a diazo groups. I'll give some examples also so that you will have an idea regarding that. It should have a diazo groups which form bridges between the two or more aromatic rings. Okay, if you want the exact structure wise, one is methyl orange. Methyl orange is an azo dye. I will just draw the structure of this methyl orange. No need of remembering the structures. These nitrogen bond bridges between the two aromatic ring, right? So these are called as azo dyes. Azo dyes means these compounds contain these NN bonds. Okay, they form bridges between the two aromatic ring. Okay, so these azo group is called as a chromophore. We come across two terminologies here. One is chromophore, other one is an oxochrome. What is a chromophore and an oxochrome? Let us see. Chromophores are the substances, these are the functional groups or multiple bonded functional groups, these are, whose presence will impart color to the substance. That is, the color of the substance will be due to certain groups. They may be functional groups or multiple bonded functional groups. So these are called as chromophores. Here the color is due to this only. So this part is referred as a chromophore. Then we come across another term which is called as oxochrome. Oxochromes, these are certain groups which do not produce color themselves. They are not chromophores. But the presence of this oxochrome along with the chromophore will intensify the color. That means chromophores are the functional groups whose presence will result in certain color. That means the presence of that particular group will be responsible for the color of that total molecule. So those are called as chromophore. Oxochrome are not responsible for color, but the presence of oxochrome along with the chromophore will intensify the color. That is, see, if only chromophore is present, it may have some color, but along with the chromophore, if there is another group which you call it as oxochrome is present, then the color will be intensified. I will give you examples of those part later. So here nitrogen NN, this is an azo group, is an chromophore because the color is due to this group only. So these compounds are called as azo dyes. We come across another type of dyes which we call them as nitroso dyes. These are the dyes which contains NO group, nitroso group as a chromophore. Okay, nitroso group as a chromophore. Okay, example of some of the dyes is fast green is an example of this dye. So these dyes contain nitroso group as a chromophore and hydroxyl group as an oxochrome. Okay, so these such type of dyes are called as nitroso dyes. Okay, See, azo dyes contains nitrogen bond, diazo group. Nitroso dye contains NO group. That is based on the, structure, we are classifying the dyes. Another dyes is nitro dyes. Nitro dyes. These are the dyes that contain NO2 group. NO2 group as the chromophore and hydroxyl group as the oxochrome. For example, to give an example, I'll give you an example of this. This molecule, we call it as a picric acid. Okay, it is generally a nitro derivative of phenol containing one nitro group, nitro group at ortho and para positions with respect to the hydroxyl group, right? So this is a nitro dye, and here NO2 group is the chromophore and OH group is the oxochrome. That means the presence of OH group intensify the color, but the color will be due to this NO2 groups only. So such type of dyes are called as nitro dyes. We call them as nitro dyes. So based on the structure, we can classify them into azo dyes, nitroso dyes, nitro dyes. Okay. So there are again some molecules that I am going to give you an example of those things. Okay. Now, another type of dyes that is based on the structure is phthalate dyes. Another type of dyes based on the structure is the phthalate dyes. So let us see what we mean by this phthalate dyes. These dyes are obtained by condensation of phthalic anhydride with phenols in presence of some dehydrating agents. Okay, so these are the dyes obtained by phthalate dyes, that is condensation of phthalic anhydride. Phthalic anhydride. Hope you know what is phthalic anhydride. So this is this is phthalic anhydride. This is an phthalic anhydride molecule. The condensation of this phthalic anhydride with phenols results in the formation of some dyes which we call them as phthalate dyes. The best example for a phthalate dye is phenolphthalein. So phenolphthalein is an example for a phthalate dye. Phenolphthalein is the best example for a phthalate dye. Okay, so the condensation of this with phenol will give you a dye which we call it as a phthalate dye. Okay, we do come across other type of dyes that is called as xanthine dyes. So these dyes are derived from xanthan. Okay, these dyes have common structural features and are obtained by condensation of phthalic anhydride. Again, phthalic anhydride with phenols in some dehydrating agents. I will give an example for both this phthalate as well as xanthine dyes. Okay, so both phthalate dyes as well as xanthine dyes are obtained by condensation of phthalic anhydride only. The best example for phthalate dye is phenolphthalein. The structure of phenolphthalein is what I am going to draw. This is a phthalic anhydride, C double bond O. Here there is a carbon, so phenol will attack here. This is a phenol. There is another phenol. So this hydrogen attacks the carbonyl carbon. It forms a group. So this is phenolphthalein. So this is an example for a phthalate dye. Okay. So example for phthalate dye is phenolphthalein. Phenolphthalein is an example for a phthalate dye. Similarly, xanthine dye example is fluorescein. Okay, we do come across another type of dyes which are called as triphenyl methane dyes. Okay, we do come across another type of dyes which are called as triphenyl methane dyes. The name itself indicates that it contains triphenyl groups. These dyes contains triphenyl methane as the main nucleus. Okay, these dyes are usually bonded by groups like NH2 groups, OH groups into the ring. Okay, the best example is rosanilene, malachite green, and crystal violet are the example of these dyes. Okay, now I'll just draw the structure of that so that you can have an idea regarding this. The best example of this is malachite green. Okay, the structure of malachite green goes like this. It contains a triphenyl methane. Okay, it contains a triphenyl methane. That means it contains a three phenyl groups. Phenyl groups like this. Nitrogen NCH3 twice. So they contain a triphenyl methane nucleus. They contain a triphenyl methane nucleus which are linked to, nitrogen compounds like this. So such are referred as methane dyes. Okay. We do come across another type of dyes which are called as indigo dyes. These indigo dyes contain carbonyl group as the chromophore. Okay. There is another type of dyes which we call them as anthraquinone dyes. These dyes contains a paraquinoid chromophore. So carbonyl group is also a chromophore there. So the best example for this is alizarin. The best example for indigo dyes is indigo. So you should know just the examples. You need not remember the structures, just know the examples of that. Only few molecules preparation is there whose structure you should know. So you should know the classification. So based on the structure, we can classify the dyes into azo dyes. Azo dyes contain this nitrogen group as a chromophore. Nitroso dyes, they contains NO group. Okay, methyl orange is an example. We have nitro dyes which contain NO2 group. Picric acid is the example. Okay, so another example is phthalene dyes. Phenolphthalein is the example. Xanthine dyes, fluorescein is the example. Triphenyl methane dyes, malachite green is the example. Indigo dyes, indigo is the example. Anthraquinone dyes, where alizarin is the example. So you should know the structure, you should know the type as well as one example. Okay, now, so there is another classification. The classification is based on the applications. How these dyes are applied based on this. Okay, so based on applications. So classification based on applications. Based on applications, these dyes can be classified into acid dyes, basic dyes, direct dyes, vat dyes, modern dyes, developed dyes or ingrained dyes, then dispersed dyes and reactive dyes. Okay, so this is the classification. Let us see what are these acid dyes. First one is acid dyes. This is the classification of the dyes, right? Now, these dyes are essentially the sodium salt of acids. When I say acid dyes, these are generally salt of acids. These dyes are generally the salt of acids. Okay, the acid group may be a sulfonic group or a phenol, SO3H, or phenol is also acidic, you know this. Okay, now, so it may be sulfonic acid, salt of sulfonic acids, or phenolic. Phenol is also a weak acid. Okay. The color of an acid dye is its negative ion, that is the phenolic part, it's not the sodium part that we have. These dyes are very bright in color. These dyes are also known as anionic dyes. Hope you know what is a sulfonic acid group. That means SO3H part. This is sulfonic acid. So generally these are the sodium salt of this. That is SO3 minus Na plus. Right. So the color will be due to the negative part. Hence these are called as anionic dyes. We call them as anionic dyes. Okay. So the method of application, how it is done. The acid dyes are always used in the acidic medium solution. The fabric I mean the cloth is stirred in the hot solution of the dye. Okay, in the hot solution of the dye is taken, and the hot solution of the dye, the fabric is stirred in presence of either an acid or its salt till it is smoothly dyed. Then it is then removed and dried. Very simple method. Okay, the best example is picric acid. You know that picric acid contains an OH group. Okay, either picric acid can be used or its salt can be used. Okay, the second classification is, that is based on the application. The second type of dye is basic dyes. Okay, these are called as cationic dyes. Okay, the basic dyes are those which contains a basic amino group, and it is protonated under the acid conditions. So under the acid conditions it gets protonated, CH3 plus. Okay, and under the acidic condition it gets protonated, and it forms a salt linkages with anionic or the acidic group in the fibers. So it is a positive part here. Okay, with the anionic part of the fabric it forms a bond. The best example of this is crystal violet, methyl violet, methylene blue. All these are basic dyes. See, these are also called as a cationic dyes. The basic dyes are those which contain a basic amino group, and it is protonated under the acid conditions of the fibers. Okay, by formation of salt linkages with the anionic or the acidic group in the fiber. So what it does is it forms a bond with the acidic or the anionic part of the the fibers. So these are called as basic dyes. We come across another type of dyes which are called as direct dyes. This is a simple classification of dyes. Direct dyes. What are these direct dyes? These can be applied to the fabrics directly by the direct immersion into the aqueous solution. That means wool or silk which contains a proteinic structure possesses a free NH2 or COH group. You know what are proteins? Proteins contains amino acids. Amino acids contain NH2 and COH group. So proteins that contain NH2 and free NH2 and COH groups, so they directly combine with these type of dyes. So these are called as direct dyes. So when applied, so this is, you can dye only wool or silk. Because they contain a proteinic structure. That means with free NH2 or COH group. If a fabric contains free NH2 or COH group, these direct dyes can be used for dyeing that. So what you can do is, this can be applied directly. Okay, for example, look at this. So we have a fiber containing NH2 group. And we have a dye. Containing OH group. So directly what happens is, they react. Fiber, it gets produced NH3 plus minus, and the dye, they form a bond. Example for such type of dyes is Congo red, okay, naphthol yellow. All these are examples. So fourth type of dye is vat dyes. These dyes are insoluble in water, but their reduced forms are soluble. Okay, these dyes are not soluble in water, but they are reduced. That means on reduction with alkaline sodium bisulfite, the white dyes are converted into water soluble dyes called lyso compounds, mostly used to dye cotton. The example for white dyes are indigo. See, these compounds, that means indigo, these type of dyes, white dyes, are not soluble in water, they are insoluble in water. These dyes, when treated with alkaline sodium bisulfite solution, they get converted into water soluble compounds. Okay, then they are dyed. So such type of dyes are called as vat dyes. One is acid dyes, which are the sodium salts of acid. basic dyes that contain NH2 group, direct dyes which can be directly dyed, and wet dyes which are water insoluble, but when treated with alkaline sodium bisulfite they become water soluble and then they can be used for dye. Another type of dyes is modern dyes. We come across another type of dyes which are called as a modern dyes. What is this modern dyes? These dyes are called as adjective dyes also. See, these dyes do not have any affinity towards fabric. For example, if this is a fabric of the cotton. So these dyes, for example, alizarin. Alizarin, I will draw the structure of alizarin. This is alizarin. So this does not have affinity towards the dye. It does not have any affinity towards the dye. So, but in presence of some mordant, okay, so in presence of some a chemical compound which we refer to it as mordant, the mordant are generally salts of metals like aluminium, iron, chromium, etc. Okay, so what does is this in presence of some mordant, what happens is this dye, the mordant forms a complex with alizarin as well as complex and it fixes. Such dyes are called as modern dyes. See, modern dyes, these dyes have no affinity towards fabric. So when added to the fabric, they never form a bond with this. So there will be never a bond between alizarin and cotton. But in presence of some substances, certain agents which you refer them as mordant, what they do is they get fixed. What a mordant does it forms a complex between this cotton as well as this. So what it is this mordant helps in fixing this dyes. So such types of dyes are called as modern dyes. Okay. The next type of dyes generally are called as developed dyes. Developed dyes, or we refer them as ingrained dyes also. These are the dyes which are produced within the cloth itself as a result of chemical action between two reactant producing the dye. Okay, these are developed dyes. That means these colors are produced within the cloth itself as a result of chemical reaction between the two reactants. So the cloth is first soaked in alkaline solution of a phenol or naphthol. So what is the cloth then is? Cloth is first soaked. It is first soaked in an alkaline solution of phenol or naphthol and then dipped into a suitable diazonium salt. Diazonium salt solution. So an insoluble azo dye is formed on the fabric directly. See, so these are developed dyes. So these are developed directly on the cloth itself. See, these type of dyes, these are already colored, these are fixed on the cotton. Here what is done is cloth is taken, it is soaked in phenol, then it is treated with diazonium salt. So what happens is, due to the reaction between this diazonium salt and the phenol, what happens is a azo dye is formed directly on the fabric, which imparts color. So these are called as developed dyes, or the ingrained dyes, or azoic dyes is what we call them. So another type of dyes are dispersed dyes and the reactive dyes. Another type of dyes we come across is dispersed dyes. Dispersed dyes. What are these dispersed dyes? These dyes are insoluble in water and are specially used for dyeing less polar fabrics like polyester, Dacron, etc. Dacron, polyesters. These are less polar. Okay. The fabric is immersed in the dispersion of a dye. Okay, a dispersion is made because these are insoluble in water. You don't get a solution of this dye. So what is done is a colloidal dispersion of a dye in a soap solution in presence of solubilizing agents like phenol or benzoic acid is used. I repeat, these dyes are insoluble in water and these are especially used for dyeing less polar fibers like Dacron, polyesters, etc. the fabric or the cloth, the fabric or the cloth, what is done is it is immersed in a colloidal dispersion of a dye. Okay, colloidal dispersion of a dye. Okay, in soap solution in presence of some solubilizing agents. The colloidal particles that are there, the colloidal particles are absorbed by the fabric, which gives a suitable color. Okay, now, and the last type of dye is reactive dye. Last type of dye is called as a reactive dye. See, what are these reactive dyes? These types of dyes form covalent bonds with the fiber during its application. Okay, when a cotton containing a free OH group, there is an OH group. Okay, cotton containing a free OH group is treated with this dye, the OH group of the fiber reacts with Cl group of the dye. The OH groups of the cotton reacts with the Cl group of the dye. Okay, Cl group of a dye to form a covalent bond between the two. Such dyes are called as reactive dyes. So this is the classification of the dyes. One is based on their structure, other one is based on their application mode. Okay, thank you.